Welcome to the Bath Centre for Pain Services and our second video on refreshing your mindfulness practice. So for this video, we're going to talk about the practicalities of getting started. I'm going to assume that you know some mindfulness, so you know what it's like to do a body scan or a breathing practice, and I'm not going to recap that here. Instead, we're going to look at how you can adjust your approach and get the most out of the practice. So when you're settling in for practice, it's not a bad idea to genuinely give yourself a little bit of time to just adjust your posture and to settle down into the practice. It's almost always unhelpful to rush or hurry or try and crack straight on with it. Now, we don't want to go to the other extreme and spend absolutely ages, stretching and wriggling and calming down before we start. Because one of the key things about mindfulness is we're going to take ourselves as we are. So once we've done the process of settling in a little bit, then if today is a distracted, agitated day, then that is what the mindfulness will be about. If it's a bit of a tired, dopey day, then that's what it'll be about too. So settle in to a degree, but then have the kindness to take yourself as you find yourself. And now that maybe you're actually seated or lying down and you're doing the practice, again, the rule of starting slowly is a solid one. A good start really counts. It's really worth spending a few more seconds at the beginning, settling yourself in, reminding yourself of your intention, and it's most likely to make the rest of your 10 minutes, 20 minutes, or whatever else go well. Now, there are a couple of things about how we go at it that we can adjust that may help. And one of the first things is your level of effort. Obviously, we can take our level of effort up and we can take our level of effort down. And most often, it's the latter that we need to do. Put a little bit less effort into it. Mindfulness is, of course, about doing something, about paying attention in a particular way, but it's also about what we don't do. It's also about not straining and not thinking and not predicting the future. And it's important to pay attention to that too. All the things we're going to take the energy back from and do less of. I think there's a difficulty in our culture, and on TV we often see people making effort in sports or the Olympics and straining, and that's not what we're going for here. I mean, just imagine if all of a sudden we stopped thinking about the future, stopped thinking about the past, stopped analyzing or trying to improve ourselves or judging things, what would be left? I reckon probably we'd just be left with awareness of the present moment. And that's where we're trying to go here. Another thing that you can adjust is your level of warmth and kindness that you're bringing to yourself. Now, it's just like meeting another person. If you meet a new person for the first time and you approach them in a rather cold or distanced way, well, then you'll get one kind of response from them. If you approach them with warmth and acceptance and kindness, then you'll get a different response. And the same applies when you're approaching your own body and your own mind. How much openness and gentleness you can bring to yourself will affect how much you can pay attention to. And so we should give some thought to the moments where it feels like everything is going completely wrong, because they do happen, don't they? I mean, every mindfulness practice is going to involve a certain amount of bringing your thinking back and refocusing your attention. But there are some days where it's really not working out, where we're completely distracted by pain or worries and preoccupations. What do we do then? The first thing that seems to help is after you've been trying and trying and trying for a while, just to stop and acknowledge what's going on. Helps us to take our foot off the accelerator, keep our sense of humor, and saying, good grief, today's really quite rough, isn't it? That very often is the first step and a critical step in getting things unblocked. So if things are really bad, you can go through a little bit of a process. First of all, remind yourself why you're doing it, if you want to do it, if it matters enough to you to persist. That's the stuff from the first video on why. And if it does, then go back and adjust again the level of effort. Very often less effort, not always. And adjust the level of kindness too. And very often this means more gentleness with yourself if it is such a rough day like that. And try to be gentle with thoughts about comparison and how you're doing. It doesn't really make sense to say that this was going better last week, for example, because you didn't have today's mind or body last week. So that kind of thought really doesn't help. There's only two things with being mindful as a human being. You're either showing up now or you're not. And if you are showing up now, then in part you're doing it. And with difficult moments, there is a phrase from sailing and learning how to sail, which is important. And that phrase is, bad seas make good sailors. So it's only really about going out in the rough times and trying it in the rough times that we really develop skill. So that's the end of these two videos for now. We hope they've been useful for you. If you can see anything else you'd like some video or some commentary on, then don't be afraid to get in touch with one of your old clinicians at the Centre for Pain Services and make some suggestions. Thanks for watching.